Have you ever had difficulties with an employee on your team and you try desperately to give them feedback, you try to work with them, you try to apply all of the leadership techniques that people have told you, but in the end, it still doesn't work? This young lady posted a comment on Facebook in a leadership forum, and she was asking for advice. And I want you to imagine this. She has an employee who works for her who is doing things but constantly is making mistakes. And this employee wants a promotion, wants to move up the corporate ladder. But every time she gives her feedback, right, the feedback conversation typically ends up in tears. There's emotional reactions. The person isn't making better choices. They still keep making mistakes. And she's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm not looking forward to having this conversation to tell her that she's not going to get a promotion. And she's like, what's worse is I'm even worried that when I sit down to have this conversation with her, we're going to go back into the tears. And the next thing that's going to happen is she's going to use the grapevine to complain about me. And then she's going to complain to HR that every time I have a conversation with her, it ends up in tears. I have been here and experienced this exact thing, and I want to share with you what I have learned. So my name is Nancy Micheli, and I am a leadership communication coach. But for 25 years, I sat in engineering roles in the oil and gas industry. And I took all of the training that many leaders take, but it wasn't until I learned the process communication model that I was finally able to connect with people who got emotional, and understand why mistakes start to happen. I also started to understand why other personality types different from mine reacted the way they did. And now that I know that, I am so excited to teach that and share that to people. But I'm going to share with you my leadership process and how I apply the process communication model to resolve a situation similar to this. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through my 4 steps to helping motivate someone from their negative state into this positive state. So let's start with the first step, and it is around motivation. And motivation starts with you as a leader. What is it that you believe? What is it that you think? What is it that you feel about the person that you're struggling with? And so I have always had an internal belief that people want to do a good job. It is my premise for doing work. It's my premise for leadership. And even if there's something going wrong, I still believe deep down there's this internal drive that people want to do a good job. The reality is, though, that when I see the world and when I consider a good job, I consider it through time, through schedule, through having data and facts and logic. And as an engineer, that makes a lot of sense that that's how I see the world. What I learned in the process communication model is that people are motivated by different things than what I'm motivated by. And when you can start to decode that in your team, it makes a huge difference. So the first thing is recognizing what is the underlying motivation. And there's a chance that there's actually a good chance that this person, if they're making mistakes, they're in second-degree distress. And what they're feeling is a lack of appreciation of a person. And so that is what motivates them. Where I'm motivated by time, schedule, and goals, this person's motivated by actually this sense of appreciation. And so learning how to appreciate makes a huge difference. And we'll move through that over this. The next thing is your body language. So your body language makes a huge difference on how people connect with you and react to you. And so your body language starts by paying attention to the stress that you have and being aware of how you communicate, not necessarily what you say. So as an engineer, as somebody sitting in a boardroom, I normally would sit upright, straight. I would give clear answers, and I would have a very direct and logical tone. And my facial expressions wouldn't be significant. But when working with somebody who sees the world more through emotions and feelings, we want to move into what we call a nurturative communication style. And that style is you soften your voice, right? Your face becomes more welcoming, by adding a smile, by relaxing into it. Your body posture is more forward. Your hand gestures are more in this open position, right, of sharing your interest and showing that you care. And so it's a very nurturing position. It's a very caring position. And this is just one of the 4 body language positions that's really important when connecting with people. And so how do you sometimes figure this out? Pay attention to their body language. Look at their body language. Look how they elevate themselves and show up and try and mirror some of that authentically. The next bit is captivate in my formula. So when we captivate, we want to think about the words that we're saying, the words that we're using to connect to the other person. So as I said at the start, there's a chance that this person sees the world through emotions and feelings. And so while I see the world through logic, I will use logical statements, logical facts. I will use what, where, why, ask questions. But in this case, this person sees the world typically through caring and feelings. And so even when you coach them, even when you connect with them, you want to use language like, I appreciate, I care, how do you feel about this? And you will notice in their language patterns, they will say things like, I feel like this. I feel this is the right solution. I feel. They'll use a lot of feeling language. And just to let you know, this is 30% of the population. So it's good to get good at this conversation topic. And so learning to adapt your language pattern, learning to pay attention to the words other people say and how they say it. There is a sense of benevolence and making sure that everybody is getting the same feelings and emotions in their conversation. The last topic that I perceive the world through is around appreciation. And here is one of the things that I know to be true in all of my experience. The more you can show appreciation for the other person, 2 things happen. The first is you will elevate them in your mindset. You will find good things about them that you like and that you know that they do. And so that helps in creating and building relationships. So the more you can appreciate, the more you can show appreciation is incredible. The second thing as a leader is when you can acknowledge and recognize and appreciate people for the things that they want to be appreciated for, not the things that you want to be appreciated for, you will start to have them increase their self-worth, have them increase their confidence. And so in this case, where somebody is making mistakes, I did this with another client, and she had an employee who was constantly making mistakes. And she's like, what do? I've tried to teach her and it did not work. And so what I said to her is, I want to encourage you to take some time and connect on a personal level. I want you to show up every day and just say, hello, how are you doing today? Show her that you care when you arrive at work. When you ask for things, I want you to ask for things about how she appreciates things in life. And I want you to compliment her in this way. I want you to compliment her around, I appreciate the harmony that you bring to the team. I appreciate how you connect to our clients. You look fabulous today. Anything that helps connect either sensory to their body, to their what they eat, their touch, their feeling, or appreciation of them as a person and the value that they bring in harmony, in connection, will make a huge difference. So if this was really helpful for you, I want to invite you to what I call a impact and influence communication call. And in this call, I'm going to help you create an empowerment strategy for one of the people that you are struggling with. And how do you want to decode and connect to that person better? I have many clients who show up and ask for these conversations. And within a very short period of time, I'm able to give them some insight and recommendation in how to build a better relationship to motivate so that you don't end up in HR with a disgruntled employee on your hand. And if that has been useful for you, then I invite you to pick up the phone, to book a call with me, and there'll be a link below to do that. I want you to imagine, just for a few minutes, that you have this challenging employee in your team, and within a very short period of time, you can see yourself having great conversations. You can see them being motivated. You can see them being excited and doing great work for your team. This is the opportunity that I am offering to you. Cheers.